Well, I'm really happy to be here today. I'm Christina Keo, the co-founder of Le Mini Macaron. We make gel manicure kits. This is our little macaron-shaped LED light. And we're an indie nail brand that started in 2015 on Kickstarter. And today we are sold in over 30 countries around the world. I'm based in Barcelona. And I'm very happy to be with you guys today. What I love about social media, viral TikTok videos, which I want to talk about.
I know, we're all going to do a TikTok with her afterwards, so make sure you're ready. And I have to say, Christina, I just bought the gel remover kit on my way here. So that was my purchase in my Uber. I'm excited.
Do your nails on the go. Remove on the
Exactly,
go.
I'm ready. Julie, welcome.
Thank you. I'm Julie, as they just introduced me. I'm the CEO at Olaplex. And really what I like about social media is that you can get personable without being personal.
Yes, you can. She said you can get personable without being personal. People only see what we let them see. And Karen?
I'm Karen Greiber. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Digital Officer of Veronica Beard. For those of you that don't know Veronica Beard, it was started by two sister-in-laws, both women, Veronicas, who married brothers with the last name Beard, which is an interesting fact. And they were trying to solve for the problem we all have, which is men can wear suits and go out the door. What do women wear? What's our uniform? And so they started with these blazers with Dickies, and now we have a collection, as you can see.
Yes, I'll stand up one more time, because it's just...
Of really like a uniform for a layered life, for the woman on the go, so you can look good, feel good, and do good.
Thank you. So we're so excited to have you here. So we're going to be talking about social media and digital marketing. And Christina, I want to start with you because you brought up TikTok. So let's talk about TikTok. You've had so many videos go viral. It's been a staple in your brand's marketing. What are you seeing in terms of how to use TikTok to be effective in your brand strategy?
So I love talking about TikTok. We've had, since we launched in Q4 in Target, we've had over 10 videos hit 1 million or more.
Wow, that's
the
great.
biggest one hit 24 million.
Wow.
I would say what wins on TikTok and what's going to make you stop scrolling is stuff that's weird, stuff that's unexpected, stuff that's different. So we had a creator who made a video doing her manicure with our little LED light in the car. So she was on the passenger side, not driving, but she was doing her manicure and people were like, what is that little light? And how are you doing it in the car? So that was organic content. She did it for free. She was using OPI polish, not our polish. We contacted her, asked to pay for it. So we replicated, so what works, lean into what works. And we paid for it, commissioned the content, and that first video that was organic, 9 million views. Wow. Second paid video, 24 million views. So just incredible. But stuff that's weird, that goes viral.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's so funny because you can't pay for that organic authenticity. But I want to ask you one more as we move on. You said she started organic and then you ended up coming back paid and you saw triple returns.
Yes.
So how did you decide to pay her and what did that strategy look like?
We kind of know what is going to catch the attention of people. So the fact that she was in the car, I thought that's very strange and people are wondering about that. So let's just lean into what's working. We actually, 2 days ago, we launched a product collab with our first ever influencer collab. She dropped a video yesterday that hit 2 million views. I asked her to do her manicure on the plane. So, you know, it's like car, plane, stuff that's really unexpected. But yeah, I think that's the strategy. If it's working, you know, just replicate it. Yeah.
And Dewey, that's a great point. If it's working, keep doing it. You have 2.3 million followers on Instagram. It has been a staple. We all love Olaplex. Congratulations on your success in going public. Talk about your social strategy and how Instagram has really propelled the brand forward.
Yeah, I think for Olaplex, what is truly unique is our community. And when we look at our community, it's not just the community of consumers, but it's also the hairstylists. And they have always been the pillar and the strongest point for us. And the unlock for us when we were trying to explain to investors why social media is so important was when we were able to truly quantify for them. So if you look at, while we may have 2.3 million followers, what is important to note is that we have a library of user-generated content that is worth $4 billion that I can repost, repurpose, regram. And on top of that, because of that content library that are all user generated, the other thing is our EMV is essentially 20% of my total marketing spend if I were to spend on marketing. So all of this gives us, as you mentioned, Kendra, authenticity. Because as soon as we say it's a sponsored post, and we have tried to do it before, we will look at sponsor, we will look at produced content, and it never engages. I mean, something stupid that I create for the platform does a better connection than if we paid somebody a lot of money to produce it. But we do boost advertising to help boost content. So there is still a paid option, but you've got to, like what Christina said, is that be authentic to who you are.
Well, and there's so many things, and I want to ask you one more, and we'll move to Karen. You talked about EMV, so that's earned media value for those of you who don't know, and we can go deeper as well. So when you think about the metrics around what you're doing, I love how you say that EMV was 20% of the marketing spend. How did you determine the allocation of what you were going to spend in boosted versus what you were receiving through the EMV?
So the first and foremost that what we do is we always focus on our community. We build environment and ecosystem and ability for them to connect with us. So like for instance, when we did the hashtag Olaplex bun, we realized that it was taking off on its own, and that was where we started boosting it. And by doing that, we got 1 billion views on it. So this is the kind of thing that we do. And then what we do is we encourage other people to create a follow-on hashtag if they choose to. So with all of that, they feel like they can leverage our exposure and our influence to help them be better at what they do. But meanwhile, it feels like we are also helping ourselves by giving them the exposure.
Exactly. I love that. It's like as a brand, we want to help our community, but we also need to help ourselves because we still have to drive a profitable business, which you've done. And Karen, let's talk about the duality of being able to do something in a car versus Veronica Beard and how you all approach social as a luxury brand. What's been your experience?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to hear all of this. We are just starting on TikTok. It's interesting. In luxury, you really want to have that elevated sense. So we try to work with influencers who we feel like really do reflect our brand and really can show the world, can provide a styling, right? Can really have some benefit. So it does feel organic to them, right? And then we spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, is this person going to be representing our brand? Does she care about what we care about? We give a portion and have the entire life of our brand given a portion of our sales to different causes. It's one of the things that's really important to our brand. So we try to partner with people who also really believe in giving back in a real way, right? And then they can also host events for us. So they become part of our community, right? They come back, they will do more than, it's not about the post, it's about finding people that really, their lifestyle fits our lifestyle and having them share it. So they become part of that.
Well, and I think that is so key. And all three of you have talked about this notion of organic content, authenticity, but there's also this balance of storytelling and brand DNA. So every brand, you know what you stand for, you know who you are. How do you find that balance of letting content creators take your brand over and do what they want, but still keeping your story true to who you are through social? Maybe we'll start with you and we'll go around.
Yeah, I think we spend a lot of time I think the people we approach and the people that approach us, it's usually a very natural combination, right? It's someone that is interested in our story, loves the product, is a woman on the go, and that's why it works, right? And is usually involved in a cause that we're involved in. So there is this natural element of it, and that's on the organic side. I do actually think paid is really important. I don't know if we're going to talk about that at some point, but
that's next step.
Okay,
that's next.
I think for us, again, first and foremost, because we are a professional brand to begin with, so always focusing on our hair professional is key, and we always let them lead the charge. So for instance, they have a new idea of what they can be using with Olaplex products. We will obviously entertain it, understand how they are using it, and if that really works, we will post that content. And then we are actually quite prescriptive in some ways. We have a standard template that we can actually let them know what lighting should look like, what the angle should be, what kind of backdrop, so that we can actually help educate them. Because sometimes a lot of people want to create content, and then in the background, you've got like all kinds of things happening. The background is actually more interesting than what is happening in the foreground. So.
I know, it's especially now that people are home so much more, you find yourself looking at everything else that's going on. But you also make up an interesting point in terms of the professional audience. And while you want to attract consumers, your core is the professional, and so speaking to them. And Christina, when you think about your brands, which you've talked a bit about, and the storytelling, how are you making sure, you mentioned that the first video wasn't necessarily using your polish, but using your tool. So how do you make sure that the story of the brand and the polish continues to show up in content?
So for us, if it's content that we're creating by ourselves, it's really important that we know our brand identity. Our team has 4 keywords that we use to know who we are. So it's we are playful, we are warm, we are accessible, and we're feminine. And so we use these words to all of our creative execution. This comes through. Now, when it comes to content creators, we want them to have the freedom to do what they want. So we brief them on our identity, but they are really free to create what's going to work for them.
So let's talk about this notion of while they're creating what they want, I want to go into paid, and I want to talk about paid from paying influencers as well as paid from boosted posts, paid ads. So starting with you, how do you kind of navigate paid? Have you allocated specific budget for influencers, a different budget for paid social ads? What does that look like, and how is it resonating with your consumers?
It is an ever-changing thing. So our strategy from 2017 is not our strategy today anymore, unfortunately. I would say we're testing and learning a lot. With influencers, you mentioned, Kendra, authentic and organic. This is super important. I think all of our influencers, I try as the founder as much as possible to have that personal relationship. It does matter to them. With the influencer we just are launching the product collab with now, we flew her to Barcelona, and that's where we're based, and spent time with her. And during this time, one of the things that came up, and I think this is what makes us stand out to her as a brand that's differentiating us, is we actually talked about her pain points as an influencer. And she said, I don't have a lot of people I can talk to these days. Suddenly, the influencers are shutting down. We're not sharing information anymore. And so I shared with her our pain points. She shared hers. And by offering her this business angle and discussion, we stood out to her. And now we have an authentic relationship.
Well, and it is a business, and I think that we forget that because, I started my first company in 2016, Digital Brand Architects, or 2010, and we were one of the first agencies to manage bloggers. And so when I think about 2010 to now and how creators are businesses and your ability to relate with them through the lens of business is so important. And Dewey, how are you approaching the paid space?
So we do it a little bit differently because it is important that we remain that authenticity, and we know that people respond so much better to organic content. So what we do is we have created a really successful tiered affiliate program. And what the affiliate program allows the influencers, and in fact, a lot of them are emerging influencers. We actually rather work with them because we want to really curate and groom them and help them be that next generation. And so what we end up doing is that by giving them an affiliate link, we are able to kind of see where they are strong, where they might be weak, and then we actually start classes for them to show them how they can amp up their presence. So again, we work on that mutually beneficial relationship. And we tested this actually during COVID, when 50% of our business was shut down because of salons. And what we did was we told the hairdressers, we'll give you an affiliate code, you go and open up your client book, send them to us, and we will give you an X percentage of commission. In under 3 months, we basically did our entire year's business as a result of that. So it really shows that hairdressers, when they trust a brand, they are going to do what it takes as long as you do not take their clients. So one of the things that we really did was when COVID was starting to be relaxed for hair salons, because it's considered an essential service, we started emailing all of their customers to let them know that the salons were opening and redirected those customers back to them. And then what was more important was other hair care brands started following suit, which means it gave the hairdressers even more opportunities. Because none of us dress head to toe in one brand. None of us eat the same food every day. So it was very good to see our competitive set supporting the hairdressers as well.
Wow. So, Julie, I want to stay here for 1 minute. There's so many things that you talked about because all brands were trying to figure out how do we get through COVID, and now we're on the other side, and how has that impacted our marketing? So when we think about affiliate marketing, you're supporting the brands. You're also, when we think about businesses, you're helping them empower their business. What was your strategy in setting up the affiliate program? Like, take us back to how did you set it up? How did you determine who were the right people to invite?
So it's actually a very funny story because I started in the company on January the 8th, 2020, way before COVID, and we were at a team meeting. The entire company is remote. I was employee number 36. Today we have 130 people doing our midpoint revenue of $826 million. So we are a very, very productive company. And we were sitting around and we were talking, and I was like saying, how about, and I didn't even use the word affiliate. I said, how about helping our hairstylists make some money? And then we started that, and we joined Affiliately, which was this platform that was compatible with Shopify. But unfortunately, it was very new, and we kept calling them and saying, why is the program not up? And they asked me, are you a coder? Do you know what you are talking about? And I'm like, okay, if I said no, the guy on the other end is going to just shut down on me. But if I said yes, maybe he'll start telling me something. So I pressed record on my phone, and I said, yes, I'm a coder. Tell me what I should do. And he started rapiding up. I recorded it. I then took it to my IT team and said, this is what this guy just said. Can we upload it? And we did. We uploaded the program in 24 hours on Shopify.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about ingenuity, right? Yes. Wow, Julie, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. And you guys have to look up Olaplex and the journey that Julie's been on since January of 2002, taking a company public in $826 million. So shout out to you. Thank you. So Karen, you brought up paid, and I think that it's really important. I'm going to say that I'm an influencer, Veronica Beard. You do have a paid strategy and how you look at paid ads, paid influencers. Talk about what your strategic approach is.
Yeah, and in my past life, we actually had a much more robust. I was at a retailer for a long time, and we had a really robust paid influencer strategy. At Veronica Beard, it's actually very small because it's really about trying to find the influencers that match our brand ethos, that really believe in what we believe in. On the other side, on the paid side, I think the interesting thing about fashion is that Instagram, now TikTok, has really become the window to your store, right? It used to be that you could put a site out there, you might have stores, and we have 20 stores. We're in every wholesaler. But where people are going for their inspiration is they're scrolling, right? And what we're trying to do is say, okay, well, what's going to be scroll stopping? What's going to inspire you? And whether that is through influencers and it's organically happening, and then you're reinforcing it on paid, and then on with paid, and then you're on connected TV, which is a channel that's really been great for us. And I don't know if we're talking about that as well, but there's other channels like that are digitally minded, and we're launching on TikTok. Affiliates has also been huge for us. So this idea of having this like constant reinforcement of your brand on digital in the way that is organic and paid has really been like key to our strategy.
Well, and you mentioned connected TV. I think talk about that. I mean, we spend so much time talking about TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. Yeah. We don't spend enough time talking about connected TV, and especially from a luxury fashion brand.
Yeah, well, we've been testing into it, and we went much bigger in spring. We're doubling down in fall. What we've seen is we're getting results that are similar to paid search, which is incredible for a fashion brand. And I think it's because people, I think the idea is that you need multiple touch points. We all do. We are being hit everywhere, right? And like traditional marketing will say you need 7 touch points to remember a brand. And I think that's right. I think you just need to be, everyone needs to inspire them what you're wearing. When I showed up here, someone was wearing head to toe Veronica Beard, and I stopped her, and I was like, you look amazing, and that's from our May launch. And she literally was like, yeah, you hit me on Instagram. I don't know how you found me. And then I went to the Green Street store and bought the entire outfit that you hit me with. And I was like, I love you so much. But also, I think that is the journey, right? And like you are getting inspiration everywhere.
Well, and that's an excellent story, actually, because I wanted to talk about acquisition and retention of consumers. So you've just acquired a new customer just here, which is the holy grail of marketing. So when we think about acquisition, acquiring a customer is one thing, retaining a customer through social media is another. So talk about what that journey looks like, acquisition to retention through social. Do you want to start, Christina?
So we have been around since 2015, but it's only last year that we started building our community. And I have a book that I would recommend. It's called The Business of Belonging. I bought the book for my entire marketing team. We did a book club. And we started a Facebook group called Les Chéris. So it means darling in French. So we have a group of VIPs who are our most loyal customers. When they buy the product for the first time, we try to bring them into this community. And in that community, they're getting tips and tricks, product knowledge. We're encouraging them to share their manicures. We do a hashtag Mani Monday for them to show their new mani. So it's a great way for not just our team to engage with them, but for our community to help answer questions. And our community is so engaged. So yeah, I definitely recommend that book and also just really working on building community.
So the book is Business of Belonging. Thank you, Christina. We're all going to go buy it. And even when you talk about this notion of, here's our VIPs, we're going to bring you together, and then we're going to give you tips and tricks, I think it's a great theme of empowering consumers, listening to consumers. And as you start to recruit, so every time someone buys something, they get their invite, and then you as a founder are kind of jumping in as well.
Oh, I'm really active on that Facebook group. And I'm like, why is my team not more active than me? I'm doing it at 11 p.m. at night. We do try to bring them in. They don't get an email, but I think on Instagram, they're getting the link to get in. When they email us customer service questions, there's a link to get in. So as much as we can, try to bring them over.
I think multiple points of engagement with your consumer is always key. And Julie, I mean, from a professional perspective, it's amazing. Go ahead.
Yes, so we've got multiple kind of social media platforms that connect with not only our professionals, but our end consumers. So we have a Facebook group that is almost like you have to be a cult follower to even get in, because you've got to give us your license number, everything personable about you, and then we can't pretend we have the right to reject you. Obviously, we welcome everybody. So in that regard,
we're getting all the tea, Julie, all the tea.
So that is a great way where people feel really engaged, connected with you, and then they are recommended other hairstylists to join on this Facebook group. Then what we also have is we have a hair diagnostic program. We have a pro app that is a little bit more depth, and then the consumer is a little bit more generation one, where they are asked about specific questions, and we actually have now turned it around. Hair diagnostic is no longer reliant on demographic segmentation. We actually look at attitude segmentation, because how many of us hate checking off boxes? When you are young, you're in box number 1. And then as you get older, I mean, like, there's a box that says others. And I'm like, others? That doesn't work. So attitude segmentation works so much better, because somebody who is 20 years old could have the same attitude as somebody that is 50 or 60 years old. So when we started doing that, we got more people coming in doing the hair diagnostic, and we found that our hair diagnostic conversion was for every 1,000 people that participated, we actually converted 72% to buy our products, not one, but our entire regimen, because it serves up the regimen that is necessary for their hair concern. And what is so interesting is they could have just checked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? But because we put it in a virtual bundle, that became our #1 selling SKU. So just by making it convenient helps.
Oh my goodness, there's so many gems and jewels there. And the convenience piece of it, because sometimes we do overcomplicate, and then the ability to say, let me look at attitude versus the traditional standard norms, because then you can actually capture a more engaged consumer because it goes so much deeper. So really smart. And Karen, I want to talk to you too about this in terms of building community, retaining customers, and also how you do that through A/B testing, because I know you guys do a lot of that. So how does that play into your retention strategy?
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time trying to, for our customer, what she's looking to us for is a lot of inspiration and a lot of outfitting and like the real of like, okay, I need to go to this, I already own this, how can I wear it, right? How can I build it into my existing wardrobe? And so we do a lot around what are the ways they're styling. So using a lot of personalization on site, and we've A/B tested like almost every little feature, and we'll continue to make sure that it's added value, right? Because we're trying to get someone through a funnel. Like once they get the site, the point is you want them to have the best experience. When they walk into the store, they get to talk to someone, right? How do we replicate that online? Spend a lot of time thinking about that and adding features of like, okay, you want this? We have a dickie. How can we show you how to wear that with a dickie? And not interrupt your cycle, right? Get you in and out as fast as you want to be, educate you as much as you want to be educated, not be intrusive. And we spend a lot of time, a lot of literally tweaks, like if you want to see this face out image or that face out image, do you want to see it up close? Do you want to see it face out? And we do every single piece of our site is done in that way.
You know, I have to say from firsthand experience, that is how I shop Veronica Beard. So when you think about the personalization piece, for me, I always pick my dress first, and then I love at the bottom where it says pair it. That's actually how I put this together. So it really does, when you think about how is your consumer engaging, how are they shopping, and then matching that at every point, from how we're building our VIP community to how we're leveraging Facebook to then how we're customizing. Those pieces keep our consumers engaged. And as we wrap up, which I'm having so much fun, so what are you looking at trends and future forecasting wise? I know it's NFT.NYC and there's the metaverse, but there's also these tried and true marketing tactics that continue to work: TikTok, Facebook, acquisition, paid, influencer. So last thought, what are you most excited about when it comes to digital marketing in the future?
Well, sorry. We are spending a lot of time talking about how to build a digital community. Everyone talked about community. I think that like the basics of digital marketing is exciting. What's really exciting is how to harness. We have this incredible woman. I mean, she does so much. And how do we harness that energy and make her feel like part of this community? We spend a lot, and like whether she's a store customer, a wholesale customer, or an e-com customer, and we're spending a lot of time building that future.
So I'm super excited about using machine learning and artificial intelligence to really scale personalization. So we recently just launched our virtual teammate, which is a synthesis of 140 of our advocates and 110 of us. This virtual teammate looks very real, and what we can do with that is that we can put this virtual teammate virtually everywhere, and it helps us scale with both customization of questions and answers on shipping, product launches, as well as any kind of product knowledge. So we feel very excited because there's a piece of us in the virtual teammate.
Wow, that's amazing.
I would say platform-wise, there's a lot of things to test. So we turned on SMS 6 months ago. That's working really well, but that works in conjunction with your other platforms. We tried direct mail. That's pretty old school. That didn't work so well for us. We're whitelisting TikTok ads. So platform-wise, there's always something new, and that's pretty hard to keep up with. But I think, even yesterday when I was at the Founder Made conference, people were talking about storytelling and going back to basics of like telling that real story. What is that creative storytelling? So I think for us, I'm gonna go back and tell my team, let's do our storytelling better. Let's build those relationships deeper. Let's build those really authentic relationships with the influencers while we test platforms.
Wow, I mean, you guys, this is amazing. I am excited to continue watching your brands grow, to learning from you. I think our big takeaways, let's look at how do we scale, how do we use digital communities, how do we use e-commerce, some of the basics of storytelling, how are we leveraging machine learning, AI, as well as the traditional tactics of digital. So please make sure that you go and follow the brands, Les Mini Manicures, Olaplex, Veronica Beard, and thank you so much for joining.